Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside the Trenches podcast right here on the Rumblings Network. It is Tuesday night. Man, it definitely feels like a Monday or a Sunday. I don't know. I'm just not over the loss. I'm just not over it. But we are back. I'm your host, Sterls for the Girls. We got my dog here, Rob Trigillio, and we are back here for another week, man. What it do, bro? What it do?
It drags. It puts its ass right on the carpet and drags it right along for the last 2 days.
Drags along, man.
Dragging ass, man.
I think it's it feels like a therapy day. The only thing that's missing about this day is like rain or snow.
Why you got to do that?
Well, it's just true. That's the time I'm on right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Listen, man. It's
right.
Quarter one of the season.
Hey,
and
man.
I always say quarter one of the season is the first 5 games because I feel like if you're going to put a freebie in any quarter of the season, it's the first quarter. The reason I feel that way is because coming out of preseason, not everybody's got it figured out. You know, there are teams that don't even play guys in the preseason. I feel like that first quarter of the season is the first 5 games. And already in the first quarter of the season, highest highs, lowest lows.
I mean, well, there's some teams that aren't experiencing that. That's for sure. But we definitely are. We definitely are going through the ebbs and flows of the season again. And it is, I mean, I had a feeling you were going to come in here and you were going to be optimistic and positive and look for the silver linings. And it was like, bruh, I want to do that, but I just can't right now.
I'm gonna lift you up a little bit, but there's definitely things to talk about in terms of like learning, heading the right direction, making changes. Because if you do more of the same, it's gonna be a problem, dog. I mean, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I feel like the first quarter of the season, you kind of get a glimpse into what the theme of your season is going to look like in terms of like your strong areas and areas that need improvement, right? So yeah, man, I guess we're in the thick of it. You know what it is though? You know what? Hold on, man. I can't do this, dog. I can't do this right now. Can I ask you a question that's not Bills related? It has to do with childhood. Are you ready for this?
Probably not.
All right. Tell me. I'm trying to cheer myself up here. Okay. Tell me on Saturday morning when the cartoons came on. Okay. What kind of cereal were you eating for breakfast? What was your go-to?
You're this bad right now?
I am.
Okay. Listen, I was a multi-cereal guy, right? Like I had lots of favorites. And so, I mean, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Reese's Puffs.
You got to pick one, dog. You got to pick one.
I mean, I even went with like the plain Kicks. Apple Cinnamon Cheerios was a favorite.
Okay.
You never had Kicks?
I had Kicks, but they're not, I mean, those
That's what I'm saying. Like, I even went with the plain shit like Kicks. Apple Cinnamon Apple Cinnamon Cheerios. And I even went with some old man cereal like Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Oh, dog.
It sounds like an old man. Sounds like an old man one. But dog, have you tried it?
Crackling oat bran.
Have you tried it?
Dog.
Have you tried it? It's a yes or no question.
Okay, I'll tell you. I tried it one time.
It's delicious.
Because there was a girl I dated that loved it. And I saw her eat. I'm
What's
like,
her
yo,
name?
what the hell is that? Hey, it don't matter. The
What's
times
her phone number? Will she marry me?
I can give you a contact. The times are different now. The times are different.
We can share our crackling oat bran for the rest of our lives.
Hey man, I know crackling oat bran, dog.
It's delicious. I mean, it is honestly the best.
I'm
cereal. I mean, it's so good.
So that's your go-to.
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, now that I'm older, it's definitely my go-to. I wouldn't call it my go-to then, but it was on the list.
Crackling oat bran definitely feels like it's got a lot of fiber.
That's what it's meant to feel like, but
and
it ain't that good for you.
I mean, if you're trying to clean yourself out, I mean, go for it. Like, I get it. You're going for
like a hater right now.
If you are a kid and you are trying to preserve your colon for the longevity of your life, do it.
You're being a hater.
Do it.
A hater.
But while I'm watching Darkwing Duck, son, I'm not miss me. I need sugar. Okay,
that's fine. Hey man, I started with Reese's Puffs. Like I don't
Reese's Puffs. Okay, the Reese's
cinnamon toast crunch.
The milk was the best part at the end. Absolutely. Oh man,
absolutely.
Oh man, back when I could handle cereal and not die, cereal and milk.
Oh, who's making fun of me now?
So
you old man.
Well, black folks, when you get about 30, you lactose.
Listen, you old ass.
That's what happens, dog.
Listen, you old ass.
Dog, it's facts, man. I ain't gonna cap. It is. The struggle is real. Like I had to put the cereal down at 31, dog, because I'm like, yo, eating cereal at 30. I'm like, yo, why am I dying in a bathroom? Like, this is not okay. So I had to.
After me.
I this
is after you come after me.
You just told me that you like crackling oat bran. Come on, man.
Delicious.
Come on, dog. I said I had a bite.
Right. You had a bite once. You had no idea, dog. You have no idea how good it is.
You know how they say sometimes it only takes one time. And then it's just like, nah, man, I don't want that.
Right,
so
well, listen, I'll get a box of cinnamon toast crunch for us, and we can sit and watch.
There you go. There you go. Well, that's depressing too. So, way to reverse what we just started here. So for me, I loved Golden Grams and Captain Crunch.
Golden Grams are disgusting,
dog. Nah. Golden Grams are the shit. I don't know if you're
honeycomb. Great.
Oh, honeycombs.
Yeah.
What's
Captain
up, Golden
Crunch?
Crisp? Golden Crisp. Would you like those?
Golden
Can't
Crisp.
get enough of that Golden Crisp.
I don't remember Golden Crisp.
Oh, the little ugly dude with the Golden Crisp.
Why are we doing this right now?
Because we're doing this because I'm trying to get myself excited to talk about this tonight. That's why.
Chat, hit us with your favorite kid cereal. But
please.
I mean, come on, dog. It's not that bad. Listen, there are things I'm gonna go off on, and you've heard me rant before. Like I will, but it's not that bad.
All right, so
let me be completely honest with you.
Go for it.
Let's boil it down real simple, real quick. Okay. When we talked about this 3-game stretch, what did we say? They need to win one. Isn't that what we said? We said if they win one, they're good. If they win 2, you can talk about the 1 seed. And if you win 3, we're looking into hotels in New Orleans, right?
Right.
That's the way we talked about it, right?
Uh-huh.
They lost that game by a field goal at the buzzer. We'll talk about how that happened. We'll talk about how that happened. But if I told you that they lost to Houston by a field goal at the buzzer, would you have been mad? Nah. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Don't act like
you can't do that.
Houston on the road. Hold on. I'm just saying. Everybody take a step back and let's take a look at where we really are. Okay. You've put yourself in a position where this game on Monday is now a must-win game. Granted.
Facts.
100%. I don't argue with that at all. We also talked about how over the course of the year, listen, man, the Bills do this. They go into slumps. It happens all the time. They need different stuff to break them out of it. I don't know what it's going to be this time. Again, that's something that we can talk about. But we had discussed after that Jets game last year, you ripped off 3 wins. I think it was Commanders, Raiders, somebody else. You ripped off, Dolphins. You ripped off 3 wins. You felt great. We were flying high. All of a sudden, you go to London and you fall flat on your face again.
Okay.
And I warned you when we were on that 3-0 high, don't forget what last year was. Okay. It's a long season. Got a lot of ball left to play. You've created a must-win situation for yourself right now, but there's no reason you should feel any worse than you did going into the Arizona game.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's what's frustrating. You know what it is, dog. So if we're on the like scope of therapy, you know what it is, bro. It's how you lost the game. That's what's frustrating. That to me, like, I'm okay with the Bills taking the L because every team does. They're gonna take L's. You know, you're not gonna come out of the season unscathed, right? But it's how they did it.
I get it.
That's what's maddening. And I gotta be honest. So if we call, the game against Kansas City 13 seconds, then we must call this against Houston 31 seconds. Like, and this is a worthy moment in Bills history where
don't oversell it.
I'm not overselling it.
Don't oversell
it. It was that bad.
It's week.
It was that bad.
It's week 5.
It is, but you know what? It is just week 5, but it's also just week 5, and the way they lost that game is unacceptable. I'm okay with the Texans getting the ball, driving downfield, and shit happens. Okay, they're in field goal range. Time expires. Boom, game over. Cool. I'm good with that.
In through the nose.
Out
through the mouth.
I can't do that right now.
Yes, you can.
It's
week 5.
Ah, man.
Breathe.
It's how they did it. And you're okay with that. You sound like you're just okay with that.
No, I'm not. I'm not. We've talked about before.
Why are you acting like you're okay with it?
But we need to, if we're going to talk about it, there's 2 different things to talk about, right? And one is the 1,000-foot view, the view of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The 1,000-foot view, the view of this season is we're all right, dog. It's okay. Honestly.
And I watched all 22.
Before we had the schedule, if we had gone down the games and just said win or loss based on the opponent and where we were, if it was home or away.
Yeah.
And you picked losses to Baltimore and Houston, you would have been fine. You would not have been worried at all. So the 1,000-foot view is we're fine. We're okay. Now, if we're going to hammer down into what happened in that game, yeah, I get it. You're going to get angry. I'm going to get angry. It wasn't okay. And one of the biggest frustrations is some of these problems we have been talking about since the end of last year and maybe even longer, and they haven't changed.
That's
so
what's frustrating.
I get the frustration. But, I mean, here are your next 4. At the Jets, Tennessee at home, at the Seahawks, versus Miami. Get right. Then you get the Colts after that at Indy. Get right. There's no reason that you can't go into that Kansas City game with 2 losses on your ledger. Right? And if they go into that Kansas City game 8-2, how you feeling?
That's not happening, bro.
I didn't ask if it's happening or not. I'm asking
you.
how you feel if you're going into that game 8-2.
I'm going to feel good about it. But there, in order for me to feel like it's not fool's gold, there are some things that need to happen. So
do you want to talk about the things that need to happen, or do you want to talk about what happened first?
Let's talk about what happened first,
All
man.
right, let's talk about what happened.
Buffalo Bills travel to the Houston Texans, and they lose in a nail-biter, 23-20. A kick, by the way, that was incredible. 59-yarder at the end of the game.
Did your heart skip a beat because you thought he missed it at the start?
No, because it's like
I was like, is someone actually gonna miss?
Yeah, they never
field
miss.
goal against
Yeah.
us? That never happens.
They never miss, and so I'm just like, yeah, this game's over.
Yeah, but when it left his foot,
It did, yeah. But that only lasted for a second.
It did. It was
Then
literally
it went
just a
straight
second,
through.
and it hooked right back in.
Yeah, and to be honest, he could have made that from 65 because he kicked the shit out of that ball. He did a great job, but I mean, it's frustrating because look, injuries aside, and I get it, but it should have looked better. It should have looked better than that. And first things first. We got to talk Josh Allen first. He did not play a great game, and all of it's not his fault. But we do have to point out, like, he left some meat on the bone.
Yeah, I'm fine with starting there. I mean, listen,
let's just get it out of the way.
I don't think he's the main reason.
Nope, absolutely not.
But he definitely didn't play his best game. It brings up questions for me. His head smacked the ground last week.
Yep.
First the Ravens.
Smacked it again this week.
We were told it wasn't a thing. Okay, fine. Smacked his head again this week.
Yeah.
You're just he better be right. They better not be putting him in there if he's not right. And however many games it costs us, I will take that because did he look right on Sunday?
I don't think it's because of the head trauma.
I'm not saying
he did not look right,
but he didn't look right. And so I'm trusting doctors here, and maybe I shouldn't be, but he better be right. Now, that being said, he missed some things. I think it's important that he takes his share of the blame. He hit Keon Coleman in the back of the head with the football. Dalton Kincaid passed the marker on the sideline. That's a catch Diggs makes 10 times out of 10. We've seen it a million times. Coming back towards Allen.
Got to make that catch.
He hits him, square in the numbers.
Yeah.
Bobbles it, falls out of bounds. It's not a catch. There was drops all over the place.
Yeah.
So, was it good enough? No. But when you're asking him to be Superman every time.
That's the thing. That's the kryptonite, right? When you ask him to do so much, like, for instance, like, I put the responsibility on Josh Allen to recognize free rushers on the outside. Like, he's got to recognize that pre-snap. He's got to recognize that. And, I feel like, the game plan wasn't so bad. I mean, it could have been better. But I felt this is what I feel like. From a mental point of view, Allen was kind of wrapped up in this game. Like, he wanted to prove to Diggs and he wanted to prove to everybody that the wrong decision was made, or he shouldn't have left, or whatever it was. But
which was so dumb, by the way.
But we got to recognize that Josh Allen is a very emotional player, and so thoughts like that aren't crazy to think. Like, I feel like maybe that's because when you watch the film, just the turn downs, you're like, okay, dude, like, this is not the same quarterback that was dogging opponents the first 3 weeks.
Because why? And this is important.
He did not get bored taking the easy stuff.
He took his profits.
Yep.
And he turned them down this week. And part of that has to do with the kind of defense that Houston runs.
Right.
Granted. But, the perfect example is that final drive.
Yeah.
He had, on 2 of the plays, he had open guys underneath.
Over their middle.
4 or 5 yards maybe, but they're a completion. The clock runs. They burn a timeout.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
I'm just saying that you're turning down the easy stuff.
Yep.
And eventually it catches up to you.
Right. And, it's when you turn into deep ball Josh, that hasn't worked in a couple years now. Like, him throwing the ball deep and the between receiver and quarterback, that relationship working is just not very effective. So also, man, they hurried up his clock a lot with pressure.
That's the head thing to me. I'm not saying it was affecting his being able to read defenses. He wasn't thinking clearly. That's not what I'm thinking. But what I do think is, it seemed like his clock was a little messed up, didn't it?
Yeah, he didn't trust. I don't feel like he trusted the offensive coordinator. He did not trust Joe Brady. It felt like, because he turned into skittish Josh, like evading the pocket so soon when you don't have to. Cook is open in the flat sometimes. Curtis Samuel's open in short area spaces, and he's turning it down. And this is the kind of stuff that we talked about last year, where he was turning stuff down. And I'm like, dude, like, why are you don't go broke taking a profit? And
Especially with this cast.
yeah, man.
Especially with this cast. If you had the Cincinnati Bengals wide receivers, right? And you say to me, like, I wanted to give Jamar a chance to win.
He's gonna catch some of them.
Right. If you want to say to me, I wanted to give T. Higgins a chance to win. So I passed this up and waited the extra half second because I wanted to give Jamar that half second to get open. Okay. I get it. Not here. Not with your number one wide receiver out. You need to take what they give you.
Yeah.
And all day it felt like everything was a shot. You know what I mean? It was disappointing.
Yeah. So, oh man, 9 for 30.
That's bad.
That's bad.
But listen, I again will point out the drops.
Yeah.
And Keon Coleman catching one in the back of the head is a perfect example of.
He had a couple in this game.
It's a perfect example of if Keon. I'm assuming that was a hot route that Keon didn't read, because there's no way that was a called play and he takes it in the back of the head like that. So I'm assuming it was a hot route that he was supposed to sight adjust that he didn't make.
It definitely looked like a glance route or something that he just didn't know what his responsibility was on the play.
I'm assuming it had to be something like that, right? But if he's looking and Josh puts that ball right on him, that's 7 yards, right? Now he's 10 for 30. He catches the Kincaid ball. That's 12 yards. Now he's 11 for 30. You know what I mean? Like, the drops played a portion in it too.
And you know what's deceptive? And I want to caution Bills fans real quick. You see, I'm a big fan of stats. I think stats are a great way to tell the story, but stats don't always give you the context you need to come to the conclusions that are truthful about certain situations. So there's a stat out there talking about how well, the rookie receiver separation, and Keon Coleman's right up there. I think he's like 5th. And that's not those numbers are very deceiving. I'm not here to tell you that Keon is a terrible route runner, but what I'm telling you is this: when it matters, his route running, he's still learning the game, and he needs a lot of help. Those
numbers are always deceptive with Josh too.
Yeah,
because he's gonna extend the play, and so even if he does what's considered a win. He's not Peyton Manning. Like, he's not. He'll hit some stuff on time and that kind of, but he's not Peyton Manning. And so even if Coleman wins temporarily, it's being able to keep that separation or recreate it later.
Sure.
When Josh gets into the second play, and I don't think he's been able to do that.
Yeah. So, there's, without Khalil Shakir, and even with Khalil Shakir, I feel like, again, and I've been saying this, and people can hate me for it or don't like that I say it, but this Bills receiving core is bottom 3rd in the league. And I don't know how you can, you can't stat your way out of this and come up with these charts and bullshit. This receiving core is not good. And it's coming to the detriment. You're going to get your quarterback killed and your season will be over. There's a way that you
I don't know that it has to get your quarterback killed. Because what your quarterback can do instead is take the profits.
But here's the deal. We can look at Josh Allen in this high elevated stance, and rightfully so. He deserves to be up there. But there are some things that he needs to improve, so that when you put that much pressure on him, on Superman, he's gonna he wants to do so much every play, and you have to protect him from himself sometimes. And you insulate him with weapons. You insulate him with a good game
But
script.
isn't that what the checkdowns are? I mean, let's be real.
But if he's not taking them, this is what I'm saying. No.
It's on him. That's
But if
not
he's
on.
not,
That's not on Joe Brady. That's on him.
Joe Brady has enough. He has enough of the blame too. But I'm saying you have to project Josh from himself. So I think the lack of weapons in this offense puts the pressure, more pressure on him to be Superman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until he learns how, like Patrick Mahomes did the past couple years, you don't go broke taking a profit, and we're not big play hunting. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I feel that it gets frustrating. It really does, because he knows he can go big play hunting and succeed. So he's even said before that he's gotten bored with, the short stuff, and he said, I can't get bored with the short stuff. That's the mindset he's got to have. And especially when, let's be honest, of all the skill players on the field on Sunday, whose hands did you want the ball in most?
Dalton Kincaid's.
Is that who you wanted? It's not who I wanted.
Who'd you want?
James Cook.
It did feel like they went away from him in the second half, don't it?
Didn't it?
Yeah.
And part of what made him so dynamic in those first 3 games, it was not just finding ways to make sure he gets the ball. It was, hey, let's throw a little check down here and just let him pick up 5. And he was your most dynamic playmaker. Kincaid had a rough day, dog.
He did.
I was not happy with how he played. And so if Kincaid's your guy, Shakir's out, Kincaid's struggling, why are we not going back to Cook? And I'm not even a James Cook fan. I like him, but I'm not like one of the fanboys. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question. Did you happen to watch the Chiefs game last night?
Yeah.
The way they implement and utilize Alvin Kamara in the pass game is chef's kiss. And it's like, why can't y'all use James Cook like that? He could do that. He's not as a dynamic as a route runner as Alvin Kamara, but James Cook can do that. Why? What? It's like, this is where I get frustrated with Joe Brady. It's like, why is it? And it was the same way with Ken Dorsey.
But
why is it so hard to get these guys involved in the offense?
Is it Joe, or is it on Josh?
It's probably both.
Feel like this is where I'm willing to give some of the blame to Josh.
That's fair. No, yeah. I mean,
I
think you're right. It goes both ways, but they got to do a better job. Yeah, you're right, because James Cook was kind of phased out of the offense in the second half.
And I'm thinking to myself, what he's your best playmaker.
Yeah, he is
on the field right now.
Yeah,
you don't have Shakir. Kincaid's having a rough day. Like Coleman. Coleman was Coleman. And that's not a slight. He's
a rookie. He's learning.
Coleman's Coleman, and then the other thing I did honestly think this to myself too, although I'm not as hateful as some of the people on Bill's Twitter right now, but where's 88? Talking about a vet now. That dude is a veteran,
man.
And he's not being put in the same situations, granted, because Dalton Kincaid is being put in those situations. But when it got down to it on Sunday, third quarter, need drives, need completions, that's $9.5 million or something like that I'm not seeing out there on the field.
Okay, so who do we put the blame on there?
Well, I think that's on I think that's on Knox.
Offensive coordinator, right? Like,
I think it's on Knox a little bit. Because you gotta step up and take that a little bit.
But I gotta look. And it's easy to be hard on Dawson Knox, right? But he was never a bad player. He was never a bad player. He may have had his fair share of drops, but
he's a good tight end.
He's a good tight end, and he's just not. He's just nowhere to be found.
He's Josh Allen's best friend. He is one of the most senior guys on that offense.
Right.
It is him and Doc. Who else? Those are the two vets on that offense. And if you want to be a leader, and if I'm Dawson Knox, I've accepted my role as TE2. I get it, right? in practice, in game planning, whatever, at halftime, I'm walking right up to Joe
Oh
Brady
yeah.
and saying, I don't know what's happening out there, but get me involved right now. This is not me begging for touches. This is me telling you that you need a vet who's going to make some catches, make some plays, and I'm
Yeah.
going to go out there and do it for you. Get me the football.
Yeah. And so on a lighter note, you look at the Texans defense, and we called this out prior to the game. We said they're gonna challenge you to win outside, single high, right? That they're gonna take away the middle of the field. You're gonna have to win outside. Can you do it? What are they gonna do? And that was a concern going into the game. But with the understanding, we just thought that Josh would maybe take some of the short stuff, and he did it. And look at what happened. Now the Bills shouldn't have been in this game, but they were, which is another good sign. I mean, Houston was giving the game back to us like it was hotcakes. So that's kind of the offensive line was fine. I didn't think they had their moments, but overall it was fine. Typical play from the offensive line, but the offense should have did more. And so I do expect Allen to bounce back against the Jets, but they're going to present another problem. We're going to talk about that in a little bit later. Yeah, it's got to come from it's going to start. He's going to be playing quarterback. It's got to start with the mind first. And yeah, he got to be smarter with football. And he almost had a couple picks, but I almost should have, would have, could have, but he didn't. But he's putting the ball in harm's way because they're rushing his clock, and he's emotional and so forth. So let's talk about the defense. We're already 30 minutes into the show. Wow, the defense. I can't be too mad at the defense just because so many people are out, right? Like
I don't think you can let that be an excuse, though.
No, it's not. It's not, but it's context and it's the reality of the situation. But go ahead.
Well, so I agree with you in that. If I'm looking at it positively, I want to say, look what a difference 43 made.
Mm.
Like that. And yeah, he was a little slow in the first half, getting his feet underneath him. Ended up being fine. That interception was incredible. Carried the tight end, broke off, jumped underneath, made an interception.
Yeah. That was amazing. That was amazing.
And what you say to yourself to make yourself feel better is, if he had that much impact on that defense and he's just one of the guys coming back, can you get that much impact from Teron Johnson next week and that much impact from Von Miller when he comes back, Ed Oliver the week after that, and Von Miller the week after that, and Matt Milano the week after that, and all of a sudden you've got a real freaking defense?
Yeah.
That's how you can feel good about it.
Yeah.
How much TB meant to that team.
Yeah. I mean, the Bills were lacking playmaking ability. Now, they have that on the outside with their corners, but their teams aren't testing Benford. They're not testing Rasul Douglas.
Well, except for that Nico Collins play. Now,
that was on the safety.
Douglas looked back at the safeties immediately with a "where were you" look. So, we don't know exactly what they were running, but it's fair to assume that I think that was a safety bust, not a corner bust.
Yeah.
But they walked up and down the field in that first half.
They sure did.
They did. And I thought they got it together, I think is how I would put it.
Yeah. I felt like, Babbage, his approach in the second half was a little different, and I need him to coach a full game well, not half of a game.
And it's a little bit of a pattern now, right?
Yeah, Arizona, it is. It's like
Miami, they were pretty good the whole time.
It's like they're so conservative in the first half, and then they dial up the pressure, and they get more exotic looks and those sorts of things, and then you see more success. Why can't we get that the whole game?
Yeah, it's starting to become a thing. So now it's not just adjustments, big dog. I need you the whole game to shut somebody down.
Yep.
So, defensive line I thought was all right. I didn't think they were great. Groot was this close to an impact play, and I think he missed it twice. I
needed more from him, but
you just needed him to finish those two.
Yeah, he's got to.
It makes a huge difference.
Yep.
I think one of them was on the Stroud scramble. He almost had him in the backfield for a sack, and then he scrambles out, picks up a first down. Like, that's a drive ender.
Yeah, and Epinesa had one.
That's the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah. Epinesa was close on one. Dwayne Carter was the best defensive lineman in the game yesterday.
I do think he was the best one. I do agree with you.
Yeah. Dwayne Carter against the run was really good. Really good.
And I think TB in the second half
turned it on.
I mean, back to an all-pro type level.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Dorian Williams was good. He had some good moments in that game. Yes, he did.
People love saying that.
Nah, bro.
When your good moments happen 4 or 5 yards down the field,
he's not
here to
Fletcher.
say that they're good, dog.
Oh, he had like 3 tackles for loss. So, for those of you who don't know, Rob hates Dorian Williams. He hates him. He despises Dorian Williams. Like, he won't let the young bull shine. Like, this dude is over here.
Want
like,
him to be good. I gave him his flowers.
Get Devin White. He ain't shit.
I gave him his flowers after the Miami game.
I have to like tell you, prompt you to. Hey, you see
I did
Dorian?
that show by myself. You weren't even here. I gave him
in spirit. I have to get in your head, be like, hey, you better say something about Dorian.
Flowers after the Miami game. I'll tell you when he plays good. I think.
You're telling me he didn't play well?
I don't think so.
Tell me why not.
I think he was fine.
You think he was fine? I thought he played good. I thought
he was an NFL replament level.
Oh my! No, don't do my guy like that. That's like saying he's Nicholas Morrow. Stop it.
No, I don't think Nicholas Morrow is an NFL replacement level linebacker. That's a shot at Moreau, not a shot at
man, dog. What is this man gonna have to do to impress you, dog?
Actually, make some plays.
Oh, stop it! Hey, Dorian's growing.
I think he was better, and I think you can point directly at who was next to him. I think TB makes the difference.
Oh, he does. I mean, and you could tell the communication was way better. How
the communication is better. Yeah. How about taking on blocks and letting him get free? And this is not a shot at Balin Spector, but I mean, we're talking about Balin Spector. You know what I mean? I think having TB next to him was a huge upgrade. And I think I'm not ready to put a crown on Dorian Williams.
I'm not saying we crown the guy, but I am saying that his play, like I felt him on the field. Like
I definitely did not feel him.
You know who I didn't feel? The safeties.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So if you're going to talk like that about Dorian Williams, when I didn't think he played great, tell me how you're about to talk about Cole Bishop. Because I also didn't think he played great.
My boy was bad. Cole was bad.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean, you said Dorian Williams played good, so I figured I'd check and see if you thought Cole Bishop played good.
I'm a Cole Bishop fan, but brother, my guy, deer in headlights. Like that boy ain't never seen a football field.
That's okay.
And he's a rookie, and it's gonna be like that.
It was his first start, first significant snaps, really, if we're being honest.
Where the hell is Mike Edwards, man?
That is the question.
Golly.
That is the question. And I literally turned to our two fellas at the bar that we watched the game with, and I was, why do we even sign him? Give me that $4 million back or whatever it was.
Bye.
You gotta be kidding me. What are we doing here?
That whole free agent class is buns.
And if you're telling me he can't be better than what Cole Bishop put on the field last week,
dog,
there's no reason to have him on the roster.
None. If Mike Edwards is back there, that touchdown would never happen to Nico Collins.
Theoretically, but if the coaches are seeing something we're not, I mean,
cover 1, cover 3, get your ass back there. You are the come on, dog.
You are a safety. That is what that is the name of your position. God. Yeah, I mean, listen, and here's the thing. I already would have done it, but you have to be close to begging 23
Call him up
to put the jersey
Call
back
him up.
on.
Call him
Honestly,
up.
I'm dead serious. And I wish you would have maybe thought about giving him that $4 million.
Call him up
instead of Edwards, but
because between Bishop and Hamlin, you have half of a safety. You got you don't even have a full safety back there.
When we talk about Dorian Williams, I'm fine living with it because I see 58 on the horizon. Taylor Rapp, no thank you.
No.
Like, no thank you. Hamlin, no thank you.
No.
So
The
now
Mar
listen,
Hamlin experience
I'm
has to be
not
over, dog.
out on Bishop. I want to be clear.
No,
right?
but he needs time. He needs time.
And what do you think would serve a kid like that best?
Time. Watching.
Put his butt right next to Micah Hyde.
Oh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
You know what I mean? Like,
right?
You want to teach that kid how to play safety the right
At
way?
least give him some confidence because he's going to know where to be, what to do on each play, right?
So, and listen, again, we've said this 1,000 times. We brought up his name a bunch of times for those of you that listen. And we've said this a bunch of times, so we'll say it again. I don't even know if Micah wants to play again.
Yeah, he probably doesn't.
He had some serious injuries. I'm sure he's upset about how they did him and Poyer. I don't think he's probably
could be disgruntled about that. I mean, he's got young kids too that he probably wants to spend time with.
Yep.
And
so I don't know. I mean, maybe they have called him. Maybe Micah said no.
Yeah.
Maybe Micah doesn't want to come back. I don't know. But if I am representing the Buffalo Bills organization, I am whatever the nicest dinner. Where do you like to eat, dog? Like we need to go and talk.
Man,
we really do.
Richard Rush, what's up, my dude? He says, is there any concern that Bishop is out of position playing free safety instead of strong safety? I don't know. He can play free. He's athletic enough. He's shown the instincts to do it. He's just young. He's got to learn at the NFL level in this new defense for him.
I think he's got a point. I would think I'd prefer him at strong rather than free.
I think he could do it, man. He's athletic enough to do it.
You can't put Hamlin at free safety,
bro.
And I hate Rapp at free safety.
Yeah.
So unless it's Bishop and Edwards, news for you. He's playing free.
and you know what? Like, I feel like most defenses are built trenches back. Sean McDermott's defense is built backwards forward, from the safety to the line. And you're putting a lot of trust in two unproven players. And I think that's hurting this team. You have no playmaking ability back there.
Breathe, big breath, because we're talking about 23 points, and 3 of them were gift wrapped.
I'm not just talking about this game, though. I'm not just talking about this game.
But that's the only Bishop measurement we really have. So
it's not just Bishop. It's Taylor Rapp. I don't like Taylor Rapp.
No, I'm just saying.
You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about Bishop and we're talking about the safeties. And this is, you and I are both not out on him. You know what I mean?
No, but Bishop is fine. He'll be fine.
I'm just saying they gave up really 20 points.
Yeah.
That's enough. That's good enough to win in the NFL.
It's good enough.
The other side of the ball you look at.
Yeah, right. So okay. So now let's talk about McDermott's part in all this.
Let's talk about it.
What the hell was that? What kind? I mean, that was which one do you think is more egregious? 13 seconds or that?
Oh, it's not even close.
13 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. It's not even close. But you
how many times do you have to go do this with Sean McDermott?
Fire right now, and then I'll tell you what I think about it, because I think we're gonna have different thoughts on it.
I mean, listen, man, I'm okay with you saying, hey, Josh, go win this game. But Josh has to make a better decision, because in years past, what the Bills would be super conservative and they would just say, let's take it over our time. So, but it's like, you don't have the dogs to go out there and do the thing that you want to do. You guys told us all offseason that explosive plays, but your personnel doesn't reflect that necessarily. So Josh has to make a better decision. And I don't know if that's McDermott's like, well, throw it deep 3 times. I don't think McDermott told Josh to do that. But it's his job as a head coach to say, you know what? My job is to look at the whole picture. And I know we don't have guys like Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis on the outside that can win. We got to take this to overtime. That's where he comes in. Like, Josh, hey, we're going to, go short here. We're going to, take it to overtime. If you see a shot, take it, right? If it's there. But if it ain't there, let's get this thing to overtime. And Houston still had 3 timeouts. So even if, you completed a pass 4 or 5 yards, they still stopping the clock. And the timeouts didn't become an issue, but I mean,
So
you got to be better there.
Well, so again, in the bar with the fellas, and you know the one that freaks out.
Oh yeah,
and
we gotta.
And he turns to me, he goes, "What the hell are we doing? You got to run the ball." And I'm
No,
like, you don't have to run the ball. You don't. I
no,
don't
you don't.
disagree with them throwing, because if you run the ball, you have to run it all 3 downs, because you have to burn all 3 of their timeouts.
Yeah.
It's the only way you can do it. And Lord willing, you get a first down, but chances are, if they know you're running the ball 3 times in a row,
They're stacking the box.
you ain't getting a first down.
Yeah.
Right? So you're saying I'm going to burn their 3 timeouts, and then they can't hit that last pass, and it's a 65-yarder instead of a 60-yarder? Well, what did you say earlier? Would have been good from 65.
Yeah.
And the outcome's the same.
Yep.
So it's without question the best player on your offensive side of the ball, the best player on your team for that matter, 17. You want to look at him and say, go win the game?
Yeah.
Go win the game. Let's talk about the game versus the Lions 2 years ago, was it?
Oh, yeah. Stephon Diggs over the middle.
How much time was left? Where was the ball?
Rope, right.
I mean, come on. If he's your dude, he's your dude. But
she ain't lying, bro. Sarah ain't lying on this one, dog. If we would have gotten stuck and they got a safety, everyone would be screaming, get the ball out of the end zone. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the risk you run, being on the 2-yard line, 2-3-yard line. Like
now, but to your point, here's the problem. Deep left to Keon Coleman.
On a back shoulder. That the ball was thrown poorly.
Deep left to Mac Hollins.
Bro, oh my God.
You're taking a shot with Mac. Especially after you had the incomplete pass on first down. Now you know you've got 2 downs. You need to throw it both downs because you need to pick up a first down because you're not going to be able to burn all their timeouts. Now you know. It is
this one's on Josh.
To take a shot there.
The fact that Josh, first of all, throwing to Mac Hollins deep is about as effective as throwing to Patrick DeMarco down deep. Like, don't do it. It's just not going to work. And I get that's your boy. My guy don't be wearing shoes. You know, he might be a little crunchy or whatever. Stop it. Stop throwing the ball.
Open underneath on that play. I think Samuel maybe
4 or 5 yards. I mean, come on, dog.
Take the 5 yards. You know now. You've already first down's over. You've already declared what you're doing. I need to pick up a first down. You have to pick up a first down now because you messed up that first down play. Now you have to pick up a first down. You can't be chucking it deep to Mac Hollins. And then your last play is Curtis Samuel, deep middle.
That he got pressure. So
who are the names we're talking about here, dog? Deep shot to Curtis Samuel? That's not even like in the game script. That's not in the game plan. Deep shot to Mac Hollins? Like Coleman is but like those aren't guys that you look for deep shots to.
So here's the deal.
It's not in their skill set. I mean,
why? On. So I would much rather have Samuel on the outside. I think Samuel on the outside is more effective than having Mac Hollins out there in passing situations.
Listen, we can argue the validity of these wide receivers and where they're playing and what they run.
Just not happening.
My only point is, if you are designing a game plan that has Curtis Samuel as effective as he can be, it's not taking deep shots to him.
Right.
If you're trying to make Mac Hollins as effective as he can be, it's not taking deep shots to him. And like Coleman, we can have the argument about it, but I still think, especially at this stage of his career, that he's better off doing what he scored the touchdown on.
Deep crossers, over routes, etc.
Body somebody up, put somebody on your back, make a catch, and break a tackle.
Or it's like the hook route on with MVS on 3rd and 9, bro. Why Keon can run that? Well, what are we doing? MVS hasn't done anything.
So we can talk about if that's Brady or that's Allen. Is that a 4th option that Allen is not taking the underneath stuff? And then that's Allen. Is that designed to be a shot play to Mac?
I don't know.
Because then that's Brady.
Yeah.
But either one, not good.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's terrible. Terrible. I'm losing my voice. So there's that.
You want me to talk more? I'll talk more. Everybody loves when I talk more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
The girls go
Listen, like,
wild.
here's the biggest thing. Here's the biggest thing to me. I don't think that there's a long-term, season-long problem that we didn't know that we had already, which means two things to me. First off, it means you shouldn't feel any different than you did going into the Arizona game. Now,
Sure. Yeah. No,
we
you're right.
talked
For sure.
on this podcast about how nervous I was going into the Arizona game.
Yeah.
So I don't think you should feel any different than you felt in the offseason if you've watched these first 5 Bills games. That being said, and I love him to death, you got to have a Brandon Bean talk here too. Because if we're two fat asses sitting on our podcast talking about how these things have been problems since the offseason and nothing has been done to address it, it's a problem.
Do you think it's a product of believing the hype?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, there's no way you thought this is the plan. Like, this is yeah. That you felt confident.
We said it last year. You were one play away from significant snaps for Trent Sherfield.
Bruh.
And it cost you in the divisional round of the playoffs.
Sure did.
This year, you were one play away from significant snaps for Matt Collins.
And MVS.
And I think it cost you a game this week.
Yeah. Duke Williams would have been better.
I mean, and like, not that Shakir is
a world beater, but he at least keeps you honest over the middle.
And if he is in that game, I just don't think it plays out the same way. I don't think they're as bad in the first half. I think on that final drive, Josh is looking for him, trusting him.
Bring up the red zone too. Shakir in the red zone's not a bad idea.
So I just not that he's a top 10 wide receiver,
right.
But I think it plays out differently if he's there.
Right. He might have been, 14 of 30, right? With Shakir in the game.
And is that enough to win? Maybe.
Shit. At this rate, yeah. Yeah. Shakir is Josh's security blanket for sure. But to that point, there has to be more. You can't keep doing this each and every week. And I know I say they can't keep doing it, but they're probably going to do it. So, like, if you're out there expecting the Bills to go get a receiver, you might want to recalibrate your thoughts here. I just don't feel like
let's touch on it.
Yeah, I just don't feel like the Bills are in a position that they want to forego some of those picks that they have in this year's upcoming draft to go get a wide receiver right now. I feel like they
aside, though.
Huh?
Set that aside, though. Do you?
I think they need to go get somebody big time.
Taking everything into account, girls. Taking everything into account.
I wasn't happy with them drafting Keon Cole. I feel like you need a Keon and something else.
But you are where you are now.
Yeah.
So taking everything into account. Money, future years, draft picks that you need, trying to reload on the fly, because it was never about this year. Taking all that into account, are you really going to go burn assets and try to get a guy?
Yes. I'm going to tell you why. And one, to save my quarterback. Like, he's just not there. He's not there to the point where he's like okay with going broke, taking go broke, taking a profit, taking the easy stuff. There is an element of him that's all. I feel like it's always gonna. We're in year 7 or 8. He's always gonna big play hunt. So you're just gonna have to get him guys where he can just live out his dream, because he ain't gonna change. It's like being in a relationship and you're expecting the other person to change. It ain't happening, bro. He's not a rookie anymore, like where he would go in the offseason and work on these certain things, where he still does. But Josh is Josh, and this is who you have. Quit trying to recreate him and making him in something that he's not. He's not a game manager type of quarterback. Not saying that's a bad thing, but that's just not his game. So quit trying to mold him and turn him into something that he's not. Press into what he does well. Get him fucking receivers. You got to.
Your move is?
Man, there's 3 guys that I wouldn't mind having. 4 guys. Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Romeo Doubs, and Deontay Johnson.
Even with the attitude problems with some of them?
Hell yeah. Yeah. They need some attitude over there. They need something.
They traded away their attitude, remember?
Well, he is a dog. He's like Steph's on another level, bro. That boy's on another level.
Romeo Doubs skipped practice twice.
Man, I would too, dog. I'm skipping practice too from Romeo Doubs, and everything Romeo does, I'm gonna just make it sound better than it is because we need a receiver so bad.
Yeah, what?
I'm making amends for, hey, dog. You know,
Don't make
it's
me
the age
check
of grace.
that.
The age
Don't
of grace.
make me
Hey, you. That's how
Here's the thing.
desperate I am, bro.
Deontay Johnson is interesting because I do think he provides you the speed that you need. Those other 3 guys, I don't think they provide you the kind of deep threat stretch that this offense needs. And that's
Whoa,
that's
now.
what Houston dares you to do.
You gotta put some respect on Devontae Adams' name because what he lacks in speed, man. His route running is top tier, and he has the ability to take the top off of defense, not because of his speed, but because of the way he constructs his routes. He's that good, even at 31. Come on, man.
I don't know, dog. I don't know.
I'm telling you,
an expensive rental.
Yeah, it is. But guess what? You fucked up. You fucked up because
pick, most likely
because you went to this offseason banking on Matt Collins and Samuel and MVS. So, well, you made your bed.
I was more for that deal after Sunday than I have been in a long time. But I don't know. What do you?
I'd even take DeAndre Hopkins.
Oof, God, no.
God, that's how. How many more Sundays do you want to see Matt Collins and MVS out there playing wide receiver for your team? How many more? How many more you got in you?
I don't think
you're okay with that.
I don't think you're going to see anything different.
You're okay with that.
I don't think you're going to see.
No. Are you okay with that?
I don't think you're going to see.
Yo, dog.
I told you. I mean, listen. After this week, I am more for that trade and whatever it costs, more than I have been at any point over the last couple of years. But what do you? Be honest with yourself here. Biggest name, Devontae Adams. What do you really think that does for this team?
Oh, I'll tell you.
I'll
tell you.
You ready? Does that take you from divisional to Super Bowl? Like, what is? Tell me where.
There's only 3 players that takes you from that to Super Bowl. Devontae's not one of those players, but what he does do. Let me tell you what he does do. He opens up your offense more than the capability that you have. And so when you see teams go man coverage, single high, Devontae can win 1v1 on the outside. Also, there's another element. Devontae, even as a 1-year rental, even if it's just 1 year, having Keon Coleman attached to that guy versus Mac fucking Hollins is worth every fucking penny. I'm sorry. Every penny. If we're not careful, and you know, we all knew that Keon had a long road in the NFL in terms of like the things that he needs to do to get better. If we don't get somebody in that room that can show him how to play wide receiver in NFL, we're wasting the pick. Because we damn sure as hell can't get Dalton Kincaid involved in the passing game. Like I feel like that's one of Brady's heels. It's like he lacks the ability to get players involved, create space for them. And so Devontae Adams, bring him in. But they're not going to do it. I mean, I can sit here and talk about it, but they're not going to do it. They're going to roll out with MVS. And you know what? The coach speak. I get so damn tired of listening to Josh, listening to McDermott, especially. God dang, bro. Like, and I know, it's the media and they're only going to say so much, but I am ready for another swan song, dog. Give me something different. At least tell me, be honest with us. Please be honest with us. Yeah, we believe in our guys. Really?
Which
You
leads
believe in
us,
that?
which leads us to our last question. Sean McDermott. I mean, what's it take for you to kick him out the door? Because
Man, I'm gonna tell you.
You and I are both already fed up with him. I don't think there's any way, just like I don't think there's any way they trade for a wide receiver.
Yeah, they ain't
I
getting
don't
rid of
think there's
McDermott.
any way they fire him. Not this year, not after the season.
Yeah.
I think
I would have been done. I would have been done with McDermott after 13 seconds. That's when I'm like, yeah, bro, you gotta go. You got a Ferrari and you're killing this team with your bullshit in the games. And but and everybody says, well, who are you gonna hire? Well, I'll find somebody. And again, I am so happy and proud of McDermott for what he was able to do with this team and the foundation that he laid and stuff. But sometimes it's just not the person to take you to the next level. And I don't think he's that guy that's going to take him to the promised land. The Bills' expectation and goal is the Super Bowl. McDermott is a divisional round coach. He gonna get you the divisional round. You're like Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer gonna get you the playoffs, and then all the fucking brakes gonna fall off. And you're done. You go home and you hang out with your family and your kids, and you come back next year. That's McDermott. And I'm just over it. I'm over it. He's a good defensive coach, but there's more to being a head coach than being good on defense. And there's a lot of people out there who love Sean. I'm just not a big fan. So
well, Saleh gets canned this week.
Yeah.
Also, say a lot of the same things about Saleh that you say about McDermott. Maybe not as emphatically,
right?
But there's a disconnect somewhere.
Yeah.
When it comes to end of game and the pressure of having to make those decisions on the fly. I just don't know that you can learn that. I don't know that that's something that develops over time.
Yeah. And before everyone says, well, Andy Reid wasn't good at it, well, he figured it out. He got Patrick Mahomes. He figured it out.
And right? I think RJ says this for a lot of Bills fans. I think there's been a lot of Bills fans that have defended him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Bills fans are I think Sunday did a lot of them in.
Yeah. I think the goodwill that you did have is now like life support. So much so that the media is all over it. They're all over it talking about Sean McDermott and his inefficiencies, right? Like, but the Bills aren't going to make a move. Like, Terry Pagula has, mismanaged the Sabres, and he's, to him, he's like, money's still coming in, and the Bills are good, so I'm just gonna let these guys figure it out. And I appreciate that to an extent, but at what point do you say, you know what, enough is enough? You've reached your ceiling, and that's okay. But we are so much more than that.
It's when his love for Josh overtakes it.
Yeah.
Because at some point, Josh is going to go to him and be like, I'm running out of time.
Yep.
I'm running out of time.
Year 7 for him, then.
I mean, if we're being honest about it, likely he's halfway through his career.
Yep. Halfway through his career and hasn't suffered an injury that has kept him out. And I'm not knock on wood, but like the way he plays the game, he's going to get injured at some point. What are we going to do?
You better hit something, dog.
I'm knocking on it. But I'm just saying, like, So I need to expend every resource that we have to get him to just throw that ball, baby. And play within the confines of the offense to an extent. Be Superman, but like just not every play. And you're doing yourself a disservice by having him line up and be out there like that without the things that you need to do the job. And that's where we're at. Right? Am I wrong?
If I told you we were 3-2,
oh,
I told you we had wins against the Cardinals, the Dolphins,
God,
the Jaguars, and we had lost to the Ravens and the Texans. Before you knew the schedule, before you knew the order, if I just told you that was how those 5 games played out, you would have said, okay, not great,
good enough,
not great, but
said.
Road games against Baltimore and Houston happens.
I don't know. Dog.
2 of the Final 4 in the AFC last year. And so I'm not – listen, if they lose this week, now we're headhunting, right? Like now there's some big problems.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. They got to win this week.
Divisional game. They're coming back from London. They just fired their coach. You better go out and handle business. I swear to God.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, yeah. Woof. Ah, man.
We didn't even talk about that game at all.
No.
How angry. That's how angry they made us.
Dog. Oh, man. Yeah, well, you and I aren't done. We're gonna jump over on intentional grounding and talk about it. So if you guys are here and you want to jump over, just go to my YouTube page. We're gonna be kicking off in about 30 minutes. But yeah, man. Again, like you said, it's only the first quarter of the season. There's still a lot of football left, but I don't know, man. Like I think there's reason for concern, and it's pretty evident.
You got to stretch to get healthy, man.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
This is a stretch of your season to get healthy. Don't mess it up.
It is, man. Well, this has been, some good therapy, I'd say. I'm still not there yet, bro, but I'll get there. Life still goes on. Buffalo Bills still line up and play for another week, but it's tough.
You're broken. Don't lie. You broke.
Yeah, a little bit. For those of you who are watching the show right now, thank you so much for tuning in to the Rumblings Network. This is not Buffalo Rumblings. It's kind of we rebranded. So make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all the things Rumblings. We are growing, regrowing our base again, and it's really cool that you guys take time out of your week to come hang out with us. So we really appreciate it. I can't leave you on a high note. I don't even know what to tell you other than go Bills. Let's get a receiver, right?
I don't even know. Fired their head coach and lost in London.
I don't even know if we're going to beat them next week.
Playing a team that lost to the Broncos next week. Let's go get them.
Okay. Let's go get the Jets. All right, man. With that being said, I am Sterls. And I have Rob T Radio on the other side, and we will catch you guys next week.